r/ruleshorror. Posted by you/TheGeckoWrangler. Nick and Rick's Pizza, Rules for Delivering to Cribble Rock Run. Part 1. Hello Daryl. It's been roughly a month since we hired you on as a delivery boy for Nick and Rick's Brick Oven Pizza. In that time, you have done outstanding work. You've been delivering with exceptional speed and quality, and it's our understanding you're notably polite with our customers. Several of them have actually tried to request you specifically for delivery a few times. For this reason, we're going to be sending you on deliveries to Cribble Rock Run within the next few days. Many of our regulars are from here, and most of them place excessively unusual orders. We charge fees for the more unique requests, and the customers are often so thrilled to get the food they compensate the deliverer notably for any inconveniences. The neighborhood is almost outside of our area of delivery. That said, delivering to Cribble Rock Run brings with it several risks. Remember that agreement waiver you signed before coming on with us and gave us weird looks for when you got to the part about beheadings? This neighborhood is the reason we have it. We've lost multiple inexperienced delivery drivers there before. Many were lost simply to the neighborhood's conditions, but a few of our customers actually have small body counts. And several of them have counts so high we charge an additional fee to deliver to them. No, we can't call the cops. You'll understand why soon. As such, to prepare you for your first delivery there, we'll be giving you a list of rules and tips to follow while in Cribble Rock Run. Please read them in advance. We value your delivery services, and would prefer to keep you. 1. Before leaving the restaurant for Cribble Rock Run, be sure the mini freezer on your back seat contains one whole ham. While you hopefully won't need it, please don't leave without it. If we're out of ham, you are free to buy one on the way, and we'll reimburse you for the cost. Obviously, try not to keep the customer waiting longer than necessary. 2. Never leave for Cribble Rock Run without one of the maps we have of the neighborhood. Electric devices often fail around those parts, so you can't depend on your GPS for directions. 3. Don't idle your vehicle unnecessarily at any point once you enter the area. The only time your car should stop is when you reach the customer's residence, and you should avoid staying in front of the house for any period of time after delivering the order. 4. Watch the road for a large dog after passing the community's entrance. He'll usually attempt to run in front of your car when you first enter the neighborhood. Try not to hit him. 5. Should you hit him, he isn't usually overly dangerous, but hitting him particularly hard might make him mad. Stop briefly to watch until he gets up. Once he does, he'll stare at you, growl angrily, then run away. Not watching will offend him. He'll think you don't care about his well-being, and while you'll probably leave the neighborhood just fine, your next visit might not end so well. 6. If your car ever breaks down completely, quickly but calmly go to the front of the vehicle, and kick the hood as hard as you can. If any residents were responsible, this will be enough to counter their effects, and the vehicle should act normally now. 7. If the car won't start back up, quickly but calmly, as in without running, continue with the delivery on foot. Don't stop moving unless you want to be noticed. Trust us, you don't want unnecessary attention around here. 8. Once you deliver the orders, take the ham and find your way to the old house covered in vines near the neighborhood center. Knock on the door. This is the home of Granny Longpaw. She's relatively sweet, and will gladly let you stay with her until your car can be towed and you can be picked up. Do, however, be polite, don't act startled or frightened by her appearance or height, and always give her the ham before entering. She has a ravenous hunger and unfortunate instincts. Don't worry though, the ham has always been enough to keep her from acting irrationally with our other employees. You shouldn't be an exception. 9. Be aware that not all of our regulars in this neighborhood live in houses. You'll occasionally be delivering to trees, streams, sewer grates, and even underneath the neighborhood's stone bridge. 10. Be mindful of the large pine tree near the aforementioned bridge. If it ever seems to have changed spots, or is missing entirely, be prepared to visit Granny Longpaw. It won't be safe for you to leave until morning. 11. Don't expect all of our regulars from Cribble Rock Run to pay with the same currency. This neighborhood has individuals from all walks of life, and many of them are from a different time. Several of them won't actually pay with money, but rather with various objects ranging from watches to half-dead animals. Bring whatever they give you, and we'll figure out the rest. 12. Do not refuse any attempted payment, no matter how strange it is. You'll definitely insult them, and that won't end well for any of us. We'll probably lose a customer, and you'll probably lose a leg and hopefully nothing else. 13. Before re-entering your vehicle, check the back seats and trunk for hitchhikers. There's a lot of them in Cribble Rock Run, and they're a big part of the reason so many fatal car accidents happen around that area. 14. If at any point you think you're going in circles, or seem to be passing the same houses multiple times, close your eyes, clap exactly 5 times, and continue driving. You should be able to leave now. 15. When leaving the neighborhood, be prepared to swerve suddenly. Several residents don't like it when visitors try to leave, and the trees are by far the worst offenders. And that's the gist of what you need to know. That said, delivering to most of the residents in Cribble Rock Run can be rather troublesome, so we have individual files of important information written for each one. We'll give you these files as we give you their orders, but keep in mind we'll be holding several regulars from you for a while. Again, we value your delivery services greatly, and would prefer to keep you as long as we can. Yours truly, Rick and Nick Castillo. Posted by you/TheGeckoWrangler. Nick and Rick's Pizza, Rules for Delivering to Granny Longpaw. Part 2. Hello Daryl. We once again would like to thank you for being a reliable employee. As we mentioned previously, we'll soon be sending you on your first delivery to Cribble Rock Run. Truth be told, we had hoped to send you sooner, but there's a specific customer we wanted you to deliver to for your first delivery. She took much longer than usual to place an order with us after an incident with a previous delivery boy. As we said previously, delivering to each and every resident of Cribble Rock Run brings with it a series of risks. To improve your odds, we are giving you detailed information on the customer you're delivering to. We want to be sure you're properly prepared. Customer name, Granny Longpaw. Address, 2249 Lesher Road. Residence description, large decrepit wooden house, covered almost entirely in thick vines. Regular order, 1 large meat lover's pizza, slightly burned at the edges, topped with an extra mixture of raw quail, salmon, and rabbit, seasoned with cinnamon. Customer description, Granny resembles a thin, shriveled old lady. Physically, she appears to be in her late 80s, though we doubt she's that young. She's always barefoot, and wears a brownish-green dress so tattered it looks like it was woven from roots and vines. Her eyes are dark blue, her hair is graying shade of black, her skin resembles parchment paper, and she consistently walks as if she's limping. Those are by far her most normal characteristics. Additionally, Granny is 8 feet and 2 inches tall when standing straight. Her feet are slightly arched in the back, her teeth appear to be entirely composed of sharp, pointed canines, and true to her name, Granny's hands are nearly 2 feet long from the tip of the middle finger to the base of the wrist. Most of this length is her fingers, which end in sharp, darkened points, without visible fingernails. On top of that, Granny's arms are so long her fingers very nearly drag across the floor as she walks. Rules for delivery. 1. When knocking on the front door, be very gentle. Granny Longpaw's house is extremely old, and structurally unsound. If you thought those vines all over the house look like they're holding the whole thing together, it's because they are. One of our previous employees managed to knock so hard the door actually fell on him. 2. Granny will answer the door immediately after you knock. Doesn't matter if you previously saw her in an upper window, or thought you noticed her in the nearby trees. She will always be right at the door when you knock. 3. Avoid making quick, sudden movements around Granny. She's a sweet old lady at heart, but is without a doubt victim to her instincts. 4. No matter what happens, never run from Granny. Predators simply can't resist the urge to chase moving prey. 5. If you notice tree roots climbing around your body, don't be alarmed. This is just how Granny greets people. Think of it as equal to a cat or dog sniffing unfamiliar individuals. 6. Avoid touching any of the vines covering Granny's house. She typically only uses them to hold the house together, but they occasionally ensnare living creatures that touch them. 7. Granny is typically very friendly, and usually quite polite, but she's easily offended by rude behavior, as well as insults against plants and animals. Get too rude, and she may even slap you. 8. Try to avoid making physical contact with Granny in any way. She doesn't know her own strength. The last driver who delivered to Granny was a bit clumsy, and accidentally tripped on her porch. When he did, Granny tried to help the man by grabbing his hand. That hand ended up so badly broken the doctor ended up having to amputate it. She's also repeatedly decapitated people on accident by slapping them. 9. Granny's eye color is an indicator of her mood and physical condition. Dark blue is normal, white means she's exited, violet implies she's sad, black indicates anger, and yellow rings over the current color are a sign of extreme hunger. You'll probably notice the yellow rings in one form or another whenever you meet her. 10. The yellow rings will widen the more hungry she is. If when delivering to her the rings are so wide you can't see another color, slowly step back, and throw the pizza at her. Granny is dangerously, irrationally hungry in this state. She'll probably devour the pizza with such speed it won't even have time to hit the floor. Trying to give her the pizza any other way in this situation typically ends in missing limbs and horrified apologies from Granny at best, and missing persons reports and loads of paperwork at worst. 11. If the rings become that wide under other circumstances, slowly and quietly go to your car, get the ham from the backseat mini fridge, and throw it to her. 12. If you don't have the ham, you're in big danger. Treat her like you would a Bengal tiger. 13. Her choice of payment is among the stranger ones we get. After receiving the pizza, she'll reach into the mass of vines you probably thought was a ruined welcome mat and pull out a wooden cage. Count the type and number of animals inside like you were counting money, to her. Box turtles are equivalent to $20, hedgehogs to $10, songbirds to $5, bats to $1, spiders to quarters, moths to dimes, beetles to nickels, and crickets to pennies. 14. Granny will tell you how much money she's giving you, tip included. Do however be certain the animals in the cage correctly add up to the amount she claimed it was. Granny is not dishonest, but she often likes to test people on their own honesty. She'll confront you if you try to take more or less than the amount she agreed on. The situation may get out of hand from there. Rules for visiting. 1. Granny will usually invite you inside after paying for the pizza. She won't be offended if you decline, but as we mentioned previously, you'll probably be running into her quite a bit when delivering to Cribble Rock Run. We suggest you try to get to know her. 2. Never enter Granny's house without first giving her the ham from your car's mini freezer. While she's probably not hungry after eating the pizza, Granny's hunger grows relatively quickly. If it's not already clear, you do not want to be around Granny when she's hungry. And no matter what, she'll certainly appreciate the ham. 3. As mentioned previously, be polite when talking to Granny, and don't talk offensively about nature in any way. The last time someone got too rude while visiting her, Granny loosened several of the vines holding the ceiling above the visitor. We wish we could say being hit by falling planks and floorboards was the worst thing that happened to him afterwards. 4. Granny may offer you tea and cookies while visiting her. We do not suggest accepting the offer. Nearly everything Granny consumes is either meat or is derived from meat. Her tea is in fact boiled blood. We'd rather not talk about the cookies. 5. If Granny ever randomly tenses up and starts glaring, followed by her eyes turn solid black for no conceivable reason, someone or something has entered her territory without permission. If your car is working, politely tell her you're leaving. If your car isn't working, ask if you can go downstairs for a while. Either way, she'll reply with of course theory, then almost immediately crash through the nearest wall to go deal with the intruder. Don't worry about the house, the vines will pull the wall back together in no time. 6. Granny's basement has multiple rooms. While down there, never enter any room that doesn't have a door. Granny keeps one specific room ready for guests at all times. You'll know it when you see it, it's the only room that actually has a door. 7. Within the guest room, you'll find a single bed and a number of mint bundles hanging around the door. Keep one of the bundles with you at all times, but make sure the others stay on the door. Granny keeps them here to disguise her guest scent from herself. If she ever loses herself to hunger while you're visiting, this room will be the only thing that can keep you off the menu. 8. If, after Granny left, you hear crashing sounds following by roaring/shrieking, quickly and immediately get under the bed. Granny occasionally deals with intruders by luring them into her house, then letting the entire structure collapse on top of them. She doesn't rely on this strategy too often though, usually the trees help her eliminate the intruder quickly. Don't be too alarmed if this does happen. You should be perfectly safe from the debris if you're underneath the sturdy bed frame, and Granny will always have the house rebuilt entirely within an hour. 9. While you should always avoid all the rooms without doors, especially avoid enter the room made entirely of plants. This is Granny's den. Entering it is a surefire way to doom yourself, especially if the plants manage to catch you. 10. If you're visiting Granny because your car broke down, see the previous rules we sent you for a reminder on why that might happen. Do not leave the guest room once inside until you know a reliable method of transportation is outside and ready to pick you up. 11. Before you go, always let Granny know you're leaving first. She'll be offended otherwise. 12. If for whatever reason you can't find her, leave a small note behind so Granny knows you've left. She'll appreciate the gesture. That should be pretty much everything you need to know about Granny Longpaw. given that she is by far the most well-meaning resident of Cribble Rock Run and also your best option for help if you get stuck in Cribble Rock Run. We always send employees new to the neighborhood delivering to Granny first. And while she is certainly dangerous, Granny is one of the least dangerous residents, at least towards you. We feel that delivering to her first helps to give you an understanding of Cribble Rock Road. And you'll definitely need to understand this place as much as possible to deliver there safely. As long as all goes well with Granny, we'll be sending you on more deliveries for the neighborhood in the near future. And please, always use proper caution when you're there. A neighborhood where one of the least dangerous residents is capable of decapitating you, breaking your bones, or eating you alive accidentally is a neighborhood to be extremely wary of. Yours truly, Rick and Nick Castillo.